Welcome to my video on how to hang cafe lights, string lights, whatever you want to call them. Obviously very popular. One of the things that I do that some people try and get away with just hanging the strands. Those can break so easily or separate. So I think the key is to have them hang on wire. This is a 1/16 wire. About 23 cents a foot. For my project, I bought about 100 feet. I connected the wires with springs. I am connecting my cafe lights to trees, which of course in the wind blow, move. So having the springs allows it to flex. So that helps. To make the loops in the wires, you may or may not have ever heard of ferrules, but this will allow you to make loops in your wire to connect everything. I'll show you how to do that either in this video or a link that I'm going to put in the video. I also used, like a better term, carabiners. This is a small locking one, 1/8 inch. And at the end of my video, if you guys stay tuned, I will actually have pictures of everything I use. So, and I think I do have some prices also on those. I also have these really heavy-duty staples. You can hammer them in. I'm using them on trees so to help run the wire for electricity. And then I've also got these eyelets or screw eye. This is a 3/4 inch by 3 inch. Again, depending on your project, how you connect to wood or what you're connecting it to, you can use several things, but this is what I used for my project. You also need a way to cut your wire. One of the reasons I used 1/16 inch, it's easier to cut and it's also easier to crimp the ferrules, but you've got wire cutters, this one or this one works. Whatever you've got in your house probably will work. And I will then show you kind of how I made all the connections right now. Oh, one last thing. Thank you, camera woman. Here are the cafe lights. I believe we have a total of 60. This is the most expensive part of the project, obviously. We bought these at a local store. One of the things I would recommend is make sure you can find bulbs for your cafe lights. These will go out. We found out that this type, they don't make the bulbs in a big box store, so they're impossible to find. And so when one goes out, you kind of lose it. So, and as you can see, they're easily hanging from this wire. But again, I'll show you that later in the video. One of the things you'll have to figure out on this project, as you can tell, I'm over here by the electricity, is where do you plug everything into? I had a transformer set up for my LED lights that light up the trees. So I have an outlet over here on the side, and the tan extension cord is what goes to my cafe lights. So that's plugged in there. We had it on a timer. Again, this is kind of a nice timer because you've got 2 plugs on it. You can buy this at your local big box store. But we stopped using the timer because, as I said, those bulbs, the lights we bought, the bulbs are impossible to find, and we had to keep buying more strands to replace the bulbs. So back to this extension cord is buried along the wall here, and we live in Phoenix, so everything's gravel. Pardon my mess over here. And it runs over to this tree, and I use those industrial staples to kind of run this up the tree. As you can see, there's the house, so nobody can see us. There's my security camera, and connected everything up there, and that's where I'll continue the video. Okay, so we've run the extension cord up the tree. This is kind of away from the house, so not as many people look at it. Originally, this was going to be temporary, hence the loops extension cord you see here, but we've kept it up permanently. You see I've got it plugged in right here. And then this plug is for the return, this return line. And it looks sort of temporary, but these have been up almost 9 or 10 months and have seen a lot of wind. You can see a couple of the lights unhooked, but it's really held up well. Okay, here's my first connection that I made in this project. Again, I think I said I had about 100 feet of wire, and there it is. I would definitely get about 5 or 10% more wire, just because you are going to have to make loops and cuts. But so I have one wire with 2 loops that goes around this branch. It's connected to that locking carabiner that I showed you earlier. And there are the springs I talked about. You can see that this spring is a little longer, probably a little more taut than this one. And then this wire goes over to the grommet that I mentioned earlier. I'll show you that. And it continues on over there. And then I connected this wire right here over to that side. And I probably could have done one continuous wire. It just, for some reason, I did it two separate ones. Probably easier to do one. Okay, here's that 3/4 grommet. This is wood, so it was really easy to. I basically pre-drilled the hole and I screwed in the grommet. Probably used a set of pliers. This is some extra wire from one of the connections. You can see there's one of the connections. This is fallen, but I had it up here, and you can see one of the staples that I used right there. And then the lights go on here. All those extraneous wires, we have above ground electrical here, so I had to put them over those wires, which was fun. Okay, here we are at the next connection. Hopefully you can see that, but here's the wire coming in, and then I've got another loop there next to the locking carabiner spring. And after we had the party we had to adjust this a little bit, and so I'd gotten a different size wire right here, and of course I had to get a clamp, which I would not recommend. Those were pretty hard to work with. And as you can see, I've got a feather connection there for the string lights or the cafe lights, and then this is where I connected the wire going over to where I plugged everything in. So everything is plugged in over there, and then this wire runs around the tree to here. I'm sure there's probably a better way to do it, but this is what I came up with in one afternoon. And later on, like I said, you'll see how this works at night. After a wardrobe change and some time and a beautiful view in the background, we have the cafe lights. As you can tell, this video was more about how to hang the wire, because really hanging the lights is pretty simple. You got the connection over there and you just put it all on the wire. But this is what it looks like in the evening. I tried this at night and it was just dark. But it looks great. It's hard to show that on video. But good luck in hanging your lights. Thank you for watching all of my video, and see you next time. And here's some close-up shots of some of the parts that I used in this video. And again, the whole project probably cost me about $125 with the lights. These parts, even including the wire, were actually pretty cheap. So good luck, and again, thanks for watching. Please do click on my video about how to make that loop.